All right, let's get right into it. We're going to tackle one of those huge, stressful questions every single homeowner dreads. When your heating or cooling system breaks down, do you repair it or do you replace it? By the end of this, you're going to have the clarity you need to make that call with confidence. You know the scene, right? It's the hottest day of the summer, the air is thick, and then silence. The cool air just stops, and that sudden, sinking feeling of panic is totally real. In that one moment, you're forced to make a really big, really expensive decision, and you have to make it fast. And that panic? It makes perfect sense, because your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system, your HVAC, as the pros call it, is basically the heart and lungs of your home. And believe me, it does a lot more than just keep you comfortable. Yeah, the stakes are way higher than you might think. In the summer, it's pulling out humidity, keeping your home healthy. And in the winter, a dead furnace isn't just a cold night. It can lead to an absolute catastrophe, like your pipes freezing and bursting. This system is a critical guardian of your home. So when it does decide to give up on you, what's actually the problem? Let's play detective for a minute and decode the most common reasons these systems fail. That way, you'll know what a technician is talking about when they show up at your door. 9 times out of 10, the problem is going to be one of these 4 things. These are the usual suspects that technicians see all day, every day. And they can be anything from a tiny electrical part failing to just a lack of basic cleaning. First up, refrigerant leaks. Just think of refrigerant as the magic juice for your AC. If it leaks out, the system just can't cool properly. And here's the weird telltale sign. You see a chunk of ice on your air conditioner in the middle of July. That's your system literally freezing up because it's broken.
Now, this one is kind of wild. A failed capacitor. It's a tiny part, maybe the size of a soda can, but it can bring your whole giant, expensive system to a dead stop. It gives the motors the kick they need to get going, and when it fails, you might just hear a click or a hum, but nothing starts. It's one of the most common failures, but thankfully, it's often a pretty quick fix.
This is all about breathing. If your system's filters and coils are caked with dirt, it's like it's trying to breathe through a straw. It has to work so much harder to pull in air, which means higher bills for you, and eventually, some major part is just going to burn out from all that strain. Okay, so the technician has figured out the problem. Now comes the moment of truth. The big, tough question. Do you sink more money into this old machine, or is it finally time to bite the bullet and replace the whole thing? Before you can even answer that, you need a little context. How old is your system? A typical air conditioner? Well, it'll last you about 12 to 15 years. A furnace can go a bit longer, maybe 15 to 20 years. If your equipment is getting close to or is already past these ages, the argument for replacing it gets a lot stronger. And here's the classic tug of war. Repairing it is cheaper today. It fixes the immediate problem, and it's a great choice for a younger system. But you're still stuck with an old, inefficient machine where another part could fail next month. Replacing it costs more upfront, no doubt, but what you're buying is reliability, a new warranty, and, this is a big one, way better energy efficiency, which means lower bills for years to come.
So how do you weigh all that and make a smart call without letting the stress get to you? Well, there's actually a really simple rule of thumb that can cut right through the noise and help you make a decision based on cold, hard numbers. It's called the $5,000 rule.
It sounds complicated, but it's dead simple. You take the age of your system in years and you multiply it by the cost of the repair. If that number comes out to more than $5,000, the repair probably isn't a good investment. That's your signal that it's time to seriously consider replacement. So yeah, it's just a few simple steps. Figure out the age, get the repair quote, and then multiply. If that number is over 5,000, you have a pretty clear answer. It's a fantastic way to take the emotion out of a really emotional decision. Let's use a real-world example. Say your AC is 15 years old. It's at the very end of its life. A technician says it's a $400 repair, and you're thinking, phew, only $400, I can handle that. But hold on, let's do the math. 15 years times $400 is $6,000. That's way over the $5,000 line. The rule is telling you that even though the repair seems cheap, you're probably just throwing good money after bad. Okay, so you've got a great tool now for handling the crisis, but what if you could avoid the crisis in the first place? Let's talk about how to flip the script, how to go from being panicked and reactive to being proactive and in control of your home's most vital system. You know, this quote really says it all. The single best way to avoid those horrible middle-of-the-night breakdowns is just scheduled maintenance. So many of those common failures we talked about are completely preventable with a little routine care. And the benefits here are huge. You get fewer emergency breakdowns, you get lower energy bills because the system runs efficiently, and you help your very expensive equipment last as long as it possibly can. A good technician can spot that worn out part before it fails. It's a total win-win. And don't be intimidated about calling a pro. Any good company has a really simple, transparent process. They'll schedule a clear arrival window, they'll diagnose the problem and give you an exact price for your approval before they do any work. Then they fix it and test it to make sure it's running perfectly. No drama, no surprises.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. We spend so much time and energy on the parts of our homes we can see, the paint, the furniture, but what about this system? The one working silently in the background to keep us comfortable and safe. So often, it's just an afterthought until it fails. Maybe it's time we change that.